Hello and welcome back to the book set Completionist. My name is Tom and we're at episode 19 already. Look at that. And what do we have here? The book set of today's episode consists of 5 parts. And not to mention that I will be reviewing a very obscure science fiction novel later. But this first. Do you know the name of a book set that consists of 5 parts? I had to look it up because I don't say that word every day. It's called pentalogy. A pentalogy is what we have here. And these books were written between 2012 and 2016. That makes them rather recent. They were written by 2 men. They were written by 2 British men. And the genre here is science fiction, although these 2 authors are not both science fiction authors. In fact, one of them is primarily known to be a fantasy author, but they teamed up to write these 5 books, and they're long. Well, they don't look that long, Tom. What do you mean they're 5 equally big books? Not that big or long. Well, but they're long. What do you mean they're long? Well, they're just long. Each one of them is long. There's something long about them. Oh yeah? Okay, well, I think that spoils it. Long. Yeah, okay, well, here we are. Science fiction, 5 parts. We're talking about the Long Earth series, with the Long Earth being the first book, followed by the Long War, the Long Mars, the Long Utopia, and finally the Long Cosmos. Well, together they're pretty long. Oh, whatever. Anyway, these books were written by 2 of British finest fiction authors. Terry Pratchett is or was very famous. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. He wrote the Discworld books, which are, well, very famous in our community, I'm sure. Stephen Baxter, however, might not reach that same level of fame, but he's mostly known for writing hard SF novels, which I have a couple of, although I have not read any of his books, but that will change. Yeah, so let's take a closer look at these books. Somewhere where we can open them. All right. The Long Earth is the first part. And what do we see? A boy in a field. Looks like Earth, but there are several other planets visible here. What we also see at the start of each book is some sort of diagram of some sort here. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a potato. Okay, yeah, that is what it looks like. Part 2 is a long war. War always means action, so it sounds promising. And the first page here is some sort of blimp airship. Okay, cool. Part 3 is the Long Mars. And what we have here is a Mars glider. Okay. Yes. Part 4, the Long Utopia. These worlds are a lot better visible this time. And what's at the start of this one? A conceptual diagrammatic sketch of the Freeman Dyson planetary spin motor. Okay, look at that. I'm not familiar with this kind of theory, but cool. And finally, the long cosmos. But what's this? That appears to be a gorilla. What is a gorilla doing there? The awesome final step. Okay. What's in here? A capsule to do something in space. That doesn't look super advanced. Okay, so it tells you something about the ending of this 5-book set. So there you go: Cosmos, Utopia, Mars, War, and Earth. Yeah, there. Okay. Today's review is of this book. It's called The Wandering Worlds by an author that I don't think anybody has ever heard of. I don't even know how to pronounce his name properly. English is funny that way. Look, his name is Terry. Okay, let's keep it that. No, I will say his last name. Greenhow, I believe is his name. Greenhuff, Greenwho, Greenho. There's so many ways, but let's keep it with Greenhow. Terry Greenhow wrote this book in 1977, or at least that's when he published it. And it is not very well known at all. On Goodreads, this got, well, less than 10 reviews, fewer than 10 reviews. So why? And why am I reviewing it? Because I read it. Why did you read it? But why did you buy it? Well, I didn't consciously buy it, as in I wanted to read Terry Greenhow's Wandering Worlds. No, it was just part of some larger haul I once did. Sometimes you get a whole box of books. And this was in it. I was intrigued by its low rating on Goodreads. I think it gets 3 stars, which is low. And I want to give those kinds of books a chance. You know, it's not that I will only read highly rated books. Okay, I just want to read something that nobody else reads. How about that? Now, is that always a good idea? No, because there's a reason why books are not very highly rated, although sometimes they're wrong. Now, this book is about a spaceship, which is crewed by 5 people. 3 of them have enhanced sensory abilities. The 4th of them is their boss, who has kind of 6th sense abilities. And the 5th person is an alien, described as only 1 meter tall, who can speak English and who helps out this crew of people. I don't know. It's not explained where that alien came from. This spaceship is headed towards some unknown location. It has a fixed trajectory. It cannot be changed. It cannot be steered into any other direction than its destination. And this crew is there to explore whatever they're going to. What happens from the start of the book is that they are under attack by a mysterious force. They don't know what's attacking them, but the nature of the attacks is not necessarily conventional. It's sort of like a mind attack, and whomever gets hit by this mind attack passes out for some time, and or not. Some of the stronger ones will snap out of it. Others might just lapse into a coma. Okay. So this crew is trying to figure out who is attacking them. At the same time, they have to keep going on their mission. There are, in fact, 2 sources of attacks that they have to face. One of them seems alien, with the mind attacks I talked about, and another set of attacks is coming from what appears to be a human pirate vessel, just similar spaceship as what they're using, but somehow they managed to break free of that fixed trajectory, and that spaceship is now trying to attack this spaceship for reasons unknown. As they try to run away from their assailants, they drop one of their crew members on the surface of a planet, and there he discovers a certain gem, mineral, diamond kind of thing, and there's something special with that diamond, and we'll learn that that diamond is part of a sort of organic way of covering a planet, making it able to snap out of its orbit and move along as it pleases. That's what we learn too. Now, so I'm spoiling this, yes. I don't think this is something you really have to read. Why not? Though everything so far might sound interesting, but it really isn't. It gets spoiled by the writing style and by the characters. The author uses a third person perspective, call that like omniscient, that knows everything. The author shares what everyone is thinking in ways that don't really help the story. It's very abrupt. One line, one person is thinking, and then the next line, another person is thinking without any kind of transition. So that makes it hard to follow. Also, the nature of their thoughts is completely banal and uninteresting. They're constantly thinking about what could possibly be attacking us. Okay, that's interesting, but what if it's this kind of thing? Oh yeah, then it must go like that. Or what if it's this kind of thing? And what about me, by the way? Oops. What about my teammates? How do they feel about this? And what is their relationship with each other too? I want to know. And this goes on and on and on. Each character has these inner deliberations, these cogitations, introspections, and it's really completely unnecessary. And it just distracts a lot from the story, which in itself could be interesting, but is not. So I'm gonna spoil it. Yeah. This gem that one of them discovers on the surface of the planet, he is getting it. He takes it back to the ship. In there, it sort of pulsates. It seems to have some kind of life form. And as they learn this, how do they even learn? I don't even know how they learn that. But like I said, the gemstone is part of an alien entity that uses this, or maybe the gemstone is the alien, but it eventually, the way that it does its thing is that it covers the surface of a planet by itself, and then it is able to just, yeah, like I said, snap out of its orbit and wander around freely, and that's what the title refers to. Unfortunately, this revelation of what the alien is, what is attacking them, is only done at the very final part of the book. And these mental attacks that they are experiencing is not, in fact, an attack at all. It's just the alien spreading itself out and trying to sort of, yeah, it is sort of an attack. They're trying to scare people away because they don't want to know. This alien doesn't want anybody to know about what they're doing. And so by pulsating these mental attacks out there where everybody who's in range can receive them, that's how they try to stay hidden. Yeah. Okay, so the other spaceship gets hit by it too. They die, I think, and this spaceship is able to move on. And that's it. Yeah. They find out the nature of that alien. They know that the Wandering Worlds myth that everybody knows about in the book is now solved. It's an alien race that does that thing. And that's all. It sounds very interesting in its potential, but again, the writing style and the way that the author is going into the minds of every character just makes it a very boring read. There you go. Don't read that. Also, that spaceship does not look like what's in the book. In the book, it's described as an orb. Or whatever. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Next time, I hope I'll have some more positive review to share. Yeah, I'm sure I will. Okay, and see you then in episode 20. Okay, peace. See you.